what is one thing that you think is very important that um, that several home inspectors miss that you think is really important for homeowners to be aware of, or home buyers?
Like I was saying, plumbing is the big thing. I'm finding that inspectors don't know a lot about, especially with the backflow. They don't mention anything about it. They're not touching shut-off valves, turning shut-off valves on and off, things like that. That's one of the biggest things. And then structural issues, foundation issues.
Absolutely.
You can't see everything when it's a finished basement. You can't see the inside structural wall. You look outside too, but I try and look at everything. And if I see any cracks on the outside, I'm telling the home buyer or home owner that they need to caulk all those cracks, because eventually over a period of time, the consensus is that water is stronger than a rock. The water beats on the rock and beats on the rock, and it drips, drips, drips. Eventually that rock will crack in two. Okay, same thing with a structural of a house. Water's getting into that crack. Winter's coming. The water freezes in the crack and is working that crack open over a number of years. If you caulk it and just keep caulking it, you check it every year, okay, and you're caulking that crack, okay,
Mhm.
then you're playing it safe. It's going to preserve that foundation wall even more. Even just fine maintenance things. I tell people how to also maintain their house. Water heater. Water heaters last between 15 to 20 years. It may go even longer because it was an older water heater and it was built well. But if you also maintain it, which means flushing it out every 5 to 6 years, take a garden hose and drain it every 5 to 6 years and get all of the slush that's in the bottom of the water tank out and then fill it back up. That's preserving, that's maintenance of the water here at that point, and you may even get even a longer life out of it. Sometimes I don't need to run the machines. They use their dishwasher all the time. So how's your dishwasher? Does it work well? Does it leak? And I'll either get a yes or a no. If they don't use it at all, because some people don't, I will run it at that point. But I'm also telling, because you haven't used it in years, it may leak when I run it now, because the O-rings for the water for that machine has deteriorated. So instead of holding the water in the tank like it should, it may leak now. It's like having a car that you don't ever start up. In a year, you don't start it up. You may have an oil leak, or it's burning oil at this point because you don't start it, you don't maintain it. Same thing with a dishwasher or a wash machine. So, your stove, you have to use your stove for cooking. So I may not test the stove, but I'm running the heat. I'm running the air conditioner to see how much heat I can get out of the furnace, no matter when it is. I'm testing the air conditioner to see how cold it will get. Because sometimes when you run that air conditioner long enough and it's low on freon, it'll freeze up. You'll see frost on the outside compressor. Some older compressors don't have what they call a high and low limit, where it'll shut itself off to protect itself. So it'll freeze up. So that means your air conditioner is not going to work as well, and it's not going to get as cold because it's freezing up at that point. So things like that, um, I won't test every socket in the house. I won't open every window in the house. I'm looking at the screens though. So because they're already living there, but it's supposed to be the same as a home buyer.